Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, USA Teen Mom 24. Welcome to Update New Gossip. Tyler Baltierra discusses with others how ketamine therapy has enhanced his mental well-being. On the new season of The Teen Mom, the next chapter, Tyler Baltierra discusses ketamine therapy in detail. In order to uncover suppressed memories and aid in his recovery from childhood trauma, Baltierra uses legal psychedelic medicines in conjunction with therapy sessions. He encourages spectators to follow his journey. I've engaged in a lot of conventional CBT, and it was really effective for me for a long time. However, I had the urge to attempt something a little bit more profound and intense. I first learned about ketamine when I read about its advantages and the studies showing how it has helped many people with past, anxiety, and depression. I wished to learn more about it. After doing my study, I became quite engrossed. I wanted to do it because sometimes traumatic things happen to you and you talk about them so frequently that you almost grow accustomed to expressing your trauma and the effects it has on you. For me, I talked so much that I didn't get to really get into it during my typical talk therapy sessions. I sort of glanced through it. That's the major reason I really want to take advantage of this chance to try something new. Because I've taken psychedelics recreationally before, it was definitely not how I anticipated it would be. It has far higher sedative effects in addition to me, it brought up a lot of issues that I simply did not anticipate. It was far more intense than I had anticipated. Undoubtedly, it was a wild and insane experience. My brain undergoes a lot of automatic repair when you experience trauma, and sometimes it does it too well. So I was like, okay, this really unlocked all of that for me. It assisted me in understanding the root of my trauma and how it had affected me as an adult. It all depends on where you go, so you should investigate the facility and the doctors who will oversee you while you do it before you just jump in. You should consult with many, conduct a brief introduction, and learn how the process functions because every therapist approaches it differently. I wanted something really spiritually oriented. Therefore, I sought out a location that truly embodied this. We listen to calming music, meditate, and center ourselves. Environment is everything to me. In California, I discovered a location that I truly enjoyed. When you first enter, you may think, this feels a little strange. You can do it in two distinct ways. You can administer it by IV or injection. I injected the fluid. It's pretty light at first, but it quickly becomes heavy. Your eyes are covered, and they apply this. You have a weighted blanket. If that makes sense, you feel really disconnected from your body, which leaves you essentially within your own head with no other sensations functioning. It is quite tense. Breathing is very important. Therefore, I had soothing music playing. A ride, indeed. It ought to be applied in therapeutic settings, in my opinion. If it were up to me, psychedelics would be legal because I believe they have a lot of unrealized potential for use in therapy and as a way to process trauma. Unfortunately, the only substance that was genuinely legal in my state, according to Google, was ketamine. I genuinely think it's medicine. It seems like it should be investigated. Only more so because the results are astounding. People should certainly conduct their own research, but also speak with their doctor, as many physicians are now aware of its advantages. People should go a little further and keep an open mind because they will be quite honest and upfront with you. To be really honest, the first thought was, "You're doing horse tranquilizer." After I described it to everyone, they all exclaimed, "Wow, I had no idea it could be applied in that way." At first, they were all somewhat astonished, but once I returned from doing it and told them how it went, they all showed great support, although ketamine hasn't been specifically discussed. When Novely inquired about my wife Kate recently, I replied that she was at a therapy appointment. She thought, "Oh, good. I'm glad she's in therapy." So, our children are aware of therapy. We have discussed how there is no such thing as a poor or incorrect emotion. It just depends on how you process it, which therapy helps you do. With all of the kids, but especially Novely, who is old enough to actually comprehend a little bit, we have been very open. We admit to her that we've previously sought counseling. We also strongly believe that occasionally parents need assistance just like children do. Simply because we are. Just though we're parents and adults to you doesn't mean that we never require assistance. Therefore, I believe it's critical to continue instilling this kind of message in our children. so they won't feel ashamed to come forth as adults. For me, this was unquestionably the finest option. I doubt I could have done this 10 years ago, so the traditional therapy I received previously was definitely necessary to put me in the appropriate frame of mind and at a level of awareness where I could actually take what was said during the ketamine sessions. I advise anyone considering it to truly spend some time with a regular therapist or a ketamine expert who will be able to. If you're prepared to delve farther and explore this, Gesto will inform you. They frequently ask you to do 4 weeks of work in advance to gauge your readiness. So, in terms of treatment, it was undoubtedly the most illuminating and eye-opening for me. I wanted to share my experience with MTV because it is a component of my whole narrative. I think it's crucial to let folks know that there are other choices available. So for me, it was a case of let's promote mental health. Let's end the stigma that there is something wrong with you, or that you are irreparable, that you're a psycho or insane. Men commit suicide at a rate of. If you're prepared to delve farther and explore this, Gesto will inform you. They frequently ask you to do 4 weeks of work in advance to gauge your readiness. So, in terms of treatment, it was undoubtedly the most illuminating and eye-opening for me. I wanted to share my experience with MTV because it is a component of my whole narrative. I think it's crucial to let folks know that there are other choices available. So for me, it was a case of let's promote mental health. Let's end the stigma that there is something wrong with you, or that you are irreparable, that you're a psycho or insane. Men commit suicide at a rate of.